Good evening, I'm Korina Sanchez-Roxas sitting in for Pinky Webb. Tonight we ask the questions, we tackle the issues, and we clarify matters. And we get on point. Amid growing concerns over corruption, talk of another leadership change swirls in Congress, and this time in the House of Representatives. Several congressmen are reportedly being eyed as potential replacements, or at least one of them will be, for Speaker Martin Romualdez. What is really going on behind the scenes? Let's get on point with House Deputy Minority Leader and ACT, or ACT Teachers Party List Representative Antonio Tinio. Hello, sir.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening, Korina.
What's the latest marites inside? So far, that's all we're getting.
Yes.
We're not getting any confirmations. And if we were to ask, and we have, as the spokesperson of Speaker Romualdez, everything is as is. And that he still has the numbers.
Well, marites din ang meron ako.
Ay, ganon. Wala tayong confirmation tonight.
In fact, I'm a member of the minority. So, by definition, hindi kami yung hindi sumuporta sa speaker, di ba? So
dapat kayong nakakaalam lalo.
We're hearing the same things that everyone else is hearing, that there will be, there is possibly going to be a change in leadership and some names have been floated. So yun po ang naririnig natin.
So naririnig lang talaga.
We'll have to wait until tomorrow. Supposedly may mangyayari bukas.
Supposedly may mangyayari today.
Well, supposedly may mangyayari today.
Right?
Pero mukhang walang nangyari. The session ended early or was ended early. So kung may mangyayari man, it would probably be tomorrow.
Okay. So dito naman po sa mga usap-usapan na nililinis na daw at nagliligpit na si Speaker ng kanyang mga gamit sa kanyang opisina, may narinig po ba kayong ganon?
Wala po specifically na ganon. But may ang naririnig natin certain names, no, na supposedly possible new Speaker of the House, no, in particular the Isabela congressman, si Boji Dee. Yan ang malakas na ugong. I think it's also in media.
Bata pa po si Ginoong Dee, hindi ba? I mean, compared to, say, other contenders like Representative Albi Benitez or Representative Toby Chanco.
I wouldn't say he's
younger?
parang more or less he's probably older than Albi. Hindi ko rin siya masyadong kilala. No, but he was a former governor of Isabela. Yun ang alam ko.
I see. So, bilang bahagi po ng minorya, don't you have a voice, a push as to who might be your contender?
Well, when the speakership was first on the table at the opening of Congress, we nominated the minority leader, si Congressman Libanan. No, so, and I think syempre nag-uusap-usap din yung minority. So ang tingin natin, kahit ano man ang mangyari sa majority, the minority still supports the minority leadership of Congressman Libanan. Parang ganon.
But because of sheer numbers, necessarily, kung ang boboto ay ang majority, so ang numero mapupunta sa kanilang tao.
Tama po.
Right.
So yung minority is right now, I think it's 29 members.
How many numbers does the Speaker enjoy, I mean, at least at this moment?
Well, hindi ko maalala yung kung ilan yung actual na boto niya at the opening of Congress. The majority, strictly speaking, is around 158. So I think the Speaker got more than that. So kung may 28 sa minority, tapos a handful of independents. So it's somewhere 200 plus. I don't know exactly kung ilan yung majority.
So kung ang is it safe to say that if the Speaker appoints or anoints someone as his successor, then this guy will have the numbers? Kumpas pa rin
if
ni
there is
Speaker
going
ito.
to be, well, if there is going to be a change in leadership, then the new speaker has to gain the support of the majority coalition. Pag sinabing majority coalition, yan yung mga political parties that make up the majority. So that would be the party of the speaker, Lakas, NUP, NP, ano ba yung mga parties? And the president's party, PFP. No, so that would be key, no, for a change in leadership to happen, is that all these parties that make up the majority will
Vote
support,
for, yes.
support the new speaker.
So totoo po ba yung mga naririnig namin that not one personality has successfully won the majority vote?
We've been hearing that for, well, actually parang several weeks now, that especially since the leadership change in the Senate happened, parang may mga expectations na, at may mga efforts na ganon. No? So at that time, ay sinasabi walang makuhang numbers. No? Pero ngayon parang mas lumalakas yung ugong that possibly...
Sino po yung ugong?
Well, ang pinakamalakas na naririnig natin is Congressman Dee.
Boji D.
Boji Dee. But
Totoo.
again, we cannot confirm until tomorrow kung may mangyari nga.
Ang amin pong naririnig, and please correct me if I'm wrong or completely misled, or this is pure marites, na tinanggihan po daw ni Congressman Toby Tiangco. In the case of Congressman Albi Benitez, there were naysayers or may pag-aalinlangan po dahil po sa kanyang background in legitimate online gambling. Tama po ba yun?
Yung kay Toby, I think that came from Congressman Tiangco himself. Sabi niya, hindi ako dyan, no, I'm too independent or whatever. Tapos, puro marites naman ito, no? Ang marites din naman regarding Albi is that he couldn't get enough numbers. I don't know.
Oh, I see.
You know?
Kaya ang malakas sa ugong ay itong si Ginoong Boji D. What does it take to be a speaker, you think? Gravitas, how would you define gravitas? To be a leader of the
Well,
House?
I think the number one requirement is loyalty to the president.
Oh, okay.
Di ba ganon? Ayun ang realidad sa politika natin is that whoever will be the speaker has the support of the president. No? So I think ganon ang politika natin. Even though supposedly co-equal and independent branch ang House, but in reality, that's how it is.
So it makes sense that somebody from the North would succeed.
Somebody from the North. Also, as far as I know, Congressman Dee belongs to the President's Party, the Partido Federal ng Pilipinas.
Is there such a thing as a speakership on leave of absence?
I suppose there can be. Pwedeng mag-leave
Ang sabi po
yung
ni
speaker.
Congressman Albi Benitez, there is no such thing. I'm unaware of the rules. So ano po ba ang nakasabi? Meron po bang ganon?
Well, actually, kung titignan mo nga sa rules, the rules are silent on that. Parang hindi yata na-envision yung ganong scenario. So, that's probably correct. I mean, I suppose there can be such a thing as sick leave.
Sick
Kunyari,
leave,
nagkasakit,
oo.
di ba?
Yes.
Okay, but as to leave of absence, it is not in the rules. No?
It remains to be seen if it can
remains
be
to
in
be
effect.
seen.
Okay, so
Tsaka pagka leave of absence, you don't necessarily elect a new speaker. It's, probably a deputy speaker will take on the role. So, iba yung scenario na yon kung magli-leave of absence.
I see. So okay, so before we pivot to
Okay.
an equally compelling event today, which is the appearance of Vice President Sara Duterte for her OVP budget. Ano po ang proseso ng pagpapalit ng isang Speaker of the House? Sabihin na natin he resigns. How would that process be?
Okay. So, one way is that someone will make a motion to declare all positions vacant. And that would mean that the speakership, but also all other positions in the House, from the deputy speaker positions to the committee chairs, etc., would also be open. No? Pero sa mga usap-usapan sa House na nasasagap natin, ay tila hindi ganun ang gusto mangyari ng majority, no? That would be too, siguro tingin nila, that would be too disruptive, especially since ongoing yung budget deliberations. So, that's one option. For example, si Congressman Kiko Barsaga, I think that's what he was hinting at, that he would
Replace.
replace by moving to
Yes.
declare all positions vacant. But that would require, for it to succeed, that would of course require majority support. So, another scenario would be just to replace the speaker while essentially retaining the status quo otherwise. No? Yung parang ganyan yung mga naririnig natin na considerations in this situation.
Supposedly, the news about the speaker resigning, resignation yung naririnig din natin sa kabilang banda. It is supposed to help mitigate the effects of the scandal on the flood control projects. Paano naman mangyayari yon? Parang I'm thinking about it, and how is that supposed to make things better? Dahil tuloy-tuloy naman po ang magiging investigasyon, hindi ba? Regardless of whether who is seated as speaker.
Well, I think everyone sees that this is part of the fallout from the flood control corruption scandal. No? So that already affected the leadership in the Senate. And now, all these discussions about change of leadership in the House, that's also related.
So are they trying to get ahead of the narrative?
Well, I think the narrative will be that in order to pave the way for an impartial investigation in the Senate as well as the House, there will be a change of leadership. That will probably be the narrative here.
Because in the case of the Senate, Senate President Escudero admitted to accepting donations, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes,
30 million
yes,
from a
that's true.
contractor.
So that is the issue there, and the issue with the issue with flood control is the insertions, the congressional insertions in the budget, and for that, both the Senate President and the Speaker are responsible for the budgets that have been passed, including the insertions. However, I have to add that the President should not be spared from accountability here because the President has veto power. No? So, kaya nga siya binigyan ng veto power.
So nakita niya yon.
Nakita niya yon at pinirmahan niya at inaprubahan niya. In fact, the President only exercised veto power over flood control projects in the 2025 budget. He vetoed 26 billion pesos worth of flood control projects in 2025. So, kaya palang gawin yun Bakit 2025
So what
na
you're
lang
saying
ginawa?
is that the President is the one trying to get ahead of the narrative.
Well, you said that.
That is the interpretation
But,
of what you said.
Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. No,
Are you joining the...
That is exactly
yeah.
what I'm saying, and that he did that in his SONA.
Okay.
No? When he said, mahiya
Quite
naman
effectively
kayo.
so.
Oo.
Diba?
He did indeed get ahead of it because the past 3 budgets that he passed, okay, they have the unprecedented levels of flood control funding. No? So ito this is the condition that enabled all of the corruption that we're talking about now.
Okay. So, last question. Are you joining the protest rally on September 21?
Yes.
Okay. I'll see you there. I'm covering
Luneta.
it. Okay.
Sa Luneta po tayo.
Opo, sa Luneta.
Opo.
Alright. Pumunta naman po tayo sa usapin ng Vice President.
Okay.
Siya po ay umappear sa Kongreso kanina. Did she look nervous to you?
Not more than usual. Parang usual lang.
Some people say that she seemed calculated. Do you think that she was calculated?
She was guarded, and we were already anticipating that she would refuse to answer questions, particularly regarding the confidential funds. And
Yes po.
that's what happened.
Kayo po mismo ang nagtanong sa kanya no, na mahigit sa 1,300 Sa 1,900 na mga pangalan sa OVP Accomplishment Report na sinabmit sa PSA, ay walang mga birth records yung mga pangalan ni na Mary Grace Piatos, Fernando Tempura, Chel Jokno.
May Chel Jokno pa doon.
Opo, may Chel Jokno pa
Okay.
So, kayo po ang nag-point out nito kanina, no? So, pinapagpaliwanag ninyo siya. At siya po'y tumanggi at sinabi po niya na ang gusto niya, haharap siya sa audit ng COA. Can she actually do that?
Actually, ang sinabi niya ay dahil haharap po siya sa impeachment trial lang daw niya sasagutin yun. No? Kaya
Pero
lang,
shelved
alam naman
naman ang
natin,
impeachment.
shelved. Well,
Yes.
sinabi rin natin yun, no? Pero nire-reserva daw niya ang sagot, ang kanyang depensa sa impeachment trial. Yun ang sagot niya. No, ngayon, sabi ko naman, in-anticipate na natin na gano'n ang magiging sagot. Pero feeling ko kailangan pa rin itanong dahil yan ang tanong ng mga kababayan natin. Di ba? Gusto talagang malaman, ano ba talagang katotohanan dito sa Mary Grace Piatos? Paano ba talaga ginamit yung... we're talking about 612.5 million in confidential funds in total.
Right.
So, hindi po biro itong halagang ito.
So, ano po ang sabi ng mga abogado niyo? Kaya po ba niyang gawin ito? Can she actually invoke her rights to not answering your questions in Congress?
Well, she has been doing that since last year. No? So, ginagawa pa rin niya ito. Ultimately, it will be the public that has to, judge, that has to pass judgment kung pwede bang ganyan ang asal ng ating mga public officials. Lalo pa ngayon na ang hinihingi ng publiko, given the issue, the widespread corruption that's being exposed, mukhang hindi po katanggap-tanggap sa publiko, mga public officials na hindi willing magpaliwanag kung paano nila ginagastos ang budget ng taong bayan.
But you are confident that the COA can get this out of her?
The COA already gave out a notice of disallowance, no? And I believe, last time the COA is also auditing the 2023, hindi pa tapos yun. No, ang lumabas pa lang yung 2022, yung 2023 nasa COA pa yan. So, yeah, may additional na findings pa tayong na-expect from COA.
Ano po ang kasunod nito? Babalik po ba si Vice President?
Well, the budget will now go to plenary for deliberations and then eventually, I'm sure approve pa rin naman yan. So, ganon.
Ganon po ba kahit na
Oo.
hindi sinagot ang mga tanong ng Kongreso?
Mayorya ang masusunod at ina-approve ito, no? So, mayorya din naman, hindi na nagtanong, no? Kanina,
Is that curious?
inapprove. Well, of course, it's
It's curious.
Ginawa
isn't
rin yun sa Office of the President, no? So, in fact, pinigilan ang pagtatanong sa Office of the President. That happened in the House, that also happened in the Senate. So, siguro kailangang kalampagin din ng publiko ang ating legislators why they allow that to happen. Di ba?
And you think this can be part of September 21?
Yes, yun ang panawagan, di ba? Is for
Transparency.
accountability, transparency sa lahat.
Right.
That includes the highest officials, the President, the leaders of both houses, down.
Okay. Wow. House Deputy Minority Leader Antonio Tinio, maraming pong salamat sa inyong panahon.
Maraming salamat.
Thank you very much. So we'll take a short break for now. When we return, we'll be speaking with Trillion Peso March spokesperson, Kiko Aquino Dee. You might want to stay and ask him questions too. This is On Point. Welcome back. A hodgepodge of various groups are set to hold mass demonstrations on September 21st, dubbed the Trillion Peso March. The protests come amid growing public outrage over corruption in government. What exactly are the protesters demanding? Let's get on point with Trillion Peso March spokesperson Kiko Aquino Dee. Thank you again. Kiko, he insists I call him Kiko, so I'll call him Kiko. Because the last time I remember him he was a baby, and now he has a mustache and looks like an
And
adult.
he's old enough to be too lazy to shave his Korina.
I
Good evening po,
know, and
good evening to all of our
you're
watchers.
now adult enough to organize such a huge rally on September 21. So why September 21, first of all?
Well, I think the symbolism is obvious. No, September 21 is the anniversary of martial law, and I'm not sure if the record still holds, but President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. held the record for one of the greatest thefts of a government in the world. No, so definitely corruption is a big part of that story of martial law, and we're invoking the spirit that ended dictatorship in this country again by calling people to come out and really stand up using peaceful means. No, that was the promise of EDSA. Change through peaceful means, and we're invoking that spirit again to finally end the story of corruption here in the Philippines.
Does this necessarily mean, Kiko, that there will be calls for, I heard this, of course, this is all Marites, but I heard this, that there would be calls for impeachment of the president? Do you think that there would be a strong anti-BBM sentiment during that rally on September 21?
So our group has not agreed on any calls of impeachment, but definitely our view is that no politician should be spared, or no faction of our politics, no administration, past or present, should be spared from the investigations on the flood control anomalies. No? So if you want to call out President Marcos, you can. If you want to call out President Duterte for also the flood control anomalies during that time, you can. But in terms of broader calls of impeachment or resignation, our group hasn't come to a consensus on that. And we've sort of, to maintain the sort of coalition that we have, the very broad coalition that we have, we are our calls for unity are really for clear accountability for this impeachment. We want all of the information to come out. We want an independent commission with teeth. So we want subpoena powers and contempt powers to be given to that commission from Congress. And we want cases to be filed and the people who are revealed to be involved to be eventually jailed, arrested, tried, and hopefully all of this comes to light.
So that would probably constitute the primary demands of this mass action, that you would be demanding heads to roll, and that named people will be held accountable. And anything short of that would be a disappointment.
Yes, po. Anything. I think because we're really in a moment, po, no? So it's really stark, no? The contrast between how bad the floods were this last few weeks, with relatively little rain. No? It wasn't a huge, typhoon, but like the flooding was so bad in different parts of Metro Manila, even outside Metro Manila. Contrast with how much money was spent on flood control, and also contrast with sort of a lot of the ostentatious displays of wealth that we see from people who are alleged to be involved with these anomalies. So I think it really created this moment where a lot of people are coming together to express righteous anger over the brazenness of corruption in this country. So I think what needs to happen is that the Independent Commission on Infrastructure needs to meet that moment. No, they cannot have sort of hindi pwedeng malabnaw yung magiging filing nila. No, they need to identify the high officials that are involved in this case. They need to file strong cases and make strong cases in the court so that we can actually see lasting consequences for these actions.
Right. So on another point, another concern would be how September 21 is going to be organized. So with so many various groups coming together, some are pro-Duterte, some are anti-Duterte, pro-Marcos, anti-administration, etc., left and right. Has all the groups been registered and accredited and have been duly briefed about regulations for peace and order?
Yeah, so in fact, we just had a meeting with a sort of broader set of groups that we weren't able to get in touch with prior to our press conference this Monday. We just had a meeting with them online earlier. And we gave orientations on what are the calls, the unity calls as far as the campaign is concerned, where, again, we're not while if you want to call any administration to account, you can, but to keep this sort of broad coalition together, we're not really wala kaming sinasanto na kahit sinong politiko, so we don't really want calls for this person should be president or that person should be president. We don't want necessarily calls for impeachment or resignation, but any kind of call out for any administration, I think that's within fair game. So I think that point of unity was very important for us to arrive at, to make sure, okay, this is what we can come together over. Yes, we know what unity looks like when there's no basis. It becomes very, very messy. So we have that call for unity. What's bringing us together is corruption. Our lead convener, Bishop Colin Bagaforo, I think likes to say na walang kulay yung corruption. No? So we're all calling that out. No?
So kumbaga,
and
Kiko,
then
kumbaga ito ay kanya-kanyang tahol. Kanya-kanyang tahol sa kanya-kanyang pwesto. Both in Luneta and in EDSA.
With ano naman, so definitely we're in solidarity with the Luneta mobilization. Our particular movement is in People Power Monument, and kanya-kanyang tahol pero may clear naman na guidelines, no. So una, talagang pananagutan para sa korupsyon yung panawagan natin, and pangalawa, I think everyone, Luneta, PPM, all of the different protests that have happened this last few weeks, and I'm sure the protests to come after the 21st, we're all committed towards peaceful protests, no. And I think that's something I'm very proud of, even coming from very different groups that some of which I don't always agree with or very rarely agree with. Pero all of the protests here right now, I think, has been something that we can be proud of. No, we expressed ourselves, we showed our anger, but we did so in a peaceful manner. And siguro, Ms. Korina, just on the point of security coordination, yes, we're also in constant contact with the Quezon City Mayor's Office, the PNP, through the QCPD, to make sure that we welcome the statement of the current PNP chief saying that hindi nyo kaaway yung pulis ngayon. We agree with that very much. No? We've organized several protests in People Power Monument before, and the police have always played a facilitative role there. We expect the same on September 21, and that was affirmed by the statement we heard recently. So we're in close coordination with the police. We have our own marshals to take care of the internal security within the crowd. So yeah, we expect people to have definitely express their anger, but also have a good experience. Now, I realize that a lot of people might be protesting for the first time this September 21. So we want to make sure that this is a meaningful experience and a peaceful experience for everyone.
I hope so too. So good luck on your organization. I have a feeling that Pinky will be interviewing you again, and we'll be hearing more from you as we approach Sunday. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you will be available for more questions. Thank you
Yes po,
very
looking
much.
forward to it. Thank you po.
Trillion Peso March spokesperson Kiko Aquino Dee, maraming salamat. And ladies and gentlemen, that's On Point. Join us again tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Hopefully Pinky will be back here on BNC, the Billionario News Channel. I'm Korina Sanchez-Roxas. Thank you for watching.